let's take some time to take a look at the fence. Now I wanted something that is heavy and strong and that is not going to flex. I think that the best way to show you how I intend to do this is to actually pull it apart instead of building it for you. Right now things are just held by clamps, nothing is glued, nothing is screwed. It's going to be a collection of parts glued together and some parts just screwed together. The idea is from multiple things I've seen on the internet, all incorporated together. I wanted to get not really a base Meyer fence, but you know, close enough. The outside part is slightly higher, like half a centimeter of this inside, so I have a little bit, basically half centimeter ledge here, for just, you know, to put some things like a maybe pencil or a small push stick, you know, and make sure that they just don't keep rolling over. So it's all, maybe even a little taping measure. It's always useful, something like this. The outside, this is part of an old desk I had. This is what I created to have the fence mounted on top. The fence will be mounted on top of this, and this is going to be on top of the rail that I'm mounting on the table and on the table saw. It's got just a little knob here that by screwing it will clamp hard on the fence, on the bar where the fence will be rolling over, and it's going to be really nice without, it's not going to move. It's 3 pieces of plywood, it's glued together, there are loads of screws to be sure that it's not going anywhere. I did a quick test, it seems to be really strong, so we'll see. The fence will be glued, and well, no, this will only be screwed on top of this, because I'm going to use a 3 screw systems, which will allow me to make I'll add first 1 screw, and then will allow to make small adjustments to make sure that the fence will be aligned to the blade of the table saw. On this side of the fence, I have also this ledge which goes fully under the fence. I wanted this just for more stability, just to be sure, since this is homemade, you know, not professionally made. I just don't want to risk that there is anything moving when I clamp it on the table. So this will rest on the table. It will give me even more strength. I'm going to remove the first piece, pull this down, and this other side down, and as you can see, this is a cutover used so that the little wing I just showed can go right on top of it. So inside is a mini fence, again for stability, to make it strong. And the idea in between these 2 sides is that I'm going to have a lot of blocks, and they're all going to be like this. They're all of the same size, cut at the same time, so that also this will not either bend, flex. They just can't do absolutely nothing. They cannot move. I'm using this little jig I made to figure out the spacing from the last screw I put in to the next one, and then these 2 holes, so that every single screw can always be at the same distance from one and another. I place this right after the last 2 screws, and I drive 2 holes. Then I remove this, and I drive it through. time to start assembling the fence. The first two parts is going to be the wing that is going to be run on the table and on the rail against one of the sides of the fence. I've already marked precisely where I want to put every single screw. Since the wing, it's shorter, the last screw is going to be here, and we're going to be using glue for this exercise. First part is finished. We're now going to add the parallel ring. This has already got the notch cut, and it's going to go right something like this. To make sure that I have the same spacing, I'm going to do a similar approach to what I did on the rail. This will all be spaced throughout the fence. I've already marked where they need to go. I've just placed all the spacers. Every single one is glued. The glue is not dry yet, but I can start adding the top just for clamping reason. Perhaps this way would be better. The glue has dried, and I've added the rest of the screws. The next thing we're going to do before we actually even close the top here is to add the sides. The fence system is now finished. Works really great. I've already checked for it to be parallel to the blade, but we're going to do a check. So it basically rolls over this T-square rail, and it clamps just with this, and it's going nowhere. So we'll do a little test now. I intend to cut 2 centimeters stock. Make sure this is clamped. What we're going to do now is just take a quick measure. 2120. We can pretty much say that the fence is aligned.